Peddlers, to another pedal preservation, and it's Cheap Bike Buildoff 2026. So if you watched my last video, you know that I put it to you to pick my bike for the challenge, and there were two bikes. There was this one, a Specialized rock hopper from the 90s, and there was also a beach cruiser. However, the Specialized hard rock won the day with overwhelming amount of votes. However, in the meantime, as the voting would go on, the damnedest thing happened, and I got another hard rock was donated, and this one's from 1988. So some of you are saying, well, between the two hard rocks, you would be better doing this one. However, there isn't really anything I'd want to change on this hard rock, as in all the stuff is period correct, and this would turn more into restoration, where if you've watched Cheap Bike Buildoff, you know there's a certain customizable element about it, and sometimes it's more about how you can switch up the bikes rather than just doing a straight up restoration. So what I've decided, I was originally thinking about taking parts from this one, putting on this one, but it seemed to be a shame because this is the more unique bike than this one. So I've decided to get a bit crazy, because there was a couple of you said I'd like to see the beach cruiser getting done. So bear with me. The plan is, and this is where it gets weird, we're going to be stripping down the hard rock. No doubt about it. It's going to be all was part of the plan. However, what I'm going to do, and I've pre-tried this to make sure the bits will fit, and they kind of do, is I'm going to be taking all the parts from the beach cruiser, the wheels and the mud guards, and I'm going to fit them onto the Specialized, and we're going to turn the Specialized into a beach cruiser, and I'm going to call it the Hardly Rocking. So stick with me on this journey, because like in the last Cheap Bike Buildoff 2025, nothing really went to plan. That's why this time I dry fitted everything, but even that is no guarantee that things are going to go to plan. Let's get going. Right, let's get stripping. Now, this is going to come apart easy because I've already had all these parts off already. Now, while I was working on it, there's a couple of things I have noticed already. This brake lever is completely and utterly seized. That will not move at all. So the bolt comes out okay, but that is seized onto the shaft, so I'm going to have to be figuring out that. But because of the state of this bike, we want to get this back to the straight frame and get it fully restored, and then we can start putting all the customizable bits on. Certainly not going to be saving anything in the cable department, so these can all definitely go. I'm even probably not going to reuse the outers, as I have some plans in that department. Right, the chain, there's a tiny bit of life left in it, but unlikely we're going to be using it again. So what do you think of my plans? A little bit crazy? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I think I just need to get locked into something that I'm going to do and then stick with it. Oh, God, I hate these cranks. They are an absolute nightmare to pop out. This is why you never throw out your old tools, because this is actually my old cheap Halford's crank puller. The reason I keep on to it is it actually, see, the center will go, because the part in the middle is missing, and it will actually recess, which is what you need. God, that bottom bracket's shot. Well, not going to be a big problem. We can swap that out totally sweetly. That should do the job. Yep, that is working. Again, might not use this. I've actually got an old rock hopper crank set. The only downside, which would look a lot better, the only downside is the pedals are seized on it. So I'd need to figure out how to get that off. Right, look away as before. If you are offended, I do not have the tool, nor will we be reusing this bottom bracket. Wacky, wacky. I seem to have misplaced my Petey's brush, which, as you know, is my favourite. Let's have a look for it. Oh, there we go. Wasn't as bad as I thought. I don't actually get these bottom brackets an awful lot, so I've never really invested in decent tools to deal with it. Maybe I should. Nothing worse than never having the tool, but it's nothing better than having that tool for that once in an opportunity. But I'll put a more conventional bottom bracket in here rather than this traditional one. Oh, I don't know if that was just dirt or the balls have started falling out already. Right, I'm going to take this off altogether because this definitely could do with a proper clean. Oh, right, that is going to be a problem. Oh, why is everything a problem? Alright, see which one works better. Definitely feels a bit better. Oh, jeez. Please do not say that seized on, because... Oh, there we go. Shit. That was on good. Right, we'll take that off. I might have to shorten the screw, and then of course what I can do is clean that and around here. Alright, as I said, I've got a few choice parts. I'm not sure. I think I do have the front derailleur, but I've got a nice set of LX stuff. Because of what we're doing, we're not doing anything like if we were doing the 1988 rock hopper. Thanks the bike fudger who put the effort in to research actually where all the years the bikes were from. Thank you, saves me the trouble, because I do like to know these things. But if we were doing the 1988 one, I would like to get things period correct. But as we're doing this kind of mashup one, the beach cruiser, the hardly rocking beach cruiser, then I feel we've got a little bit more artistic licensing. Get that into the fryer, get it all cleaned. Right, let's start getting this torn down, because this is definitely not living the life. This is not going to be reused. This is definitely something we'll be swapping out. There's literally nothing on here. We won't be using the grip shifts, at least unless something goes horribly wrong with the build. Although they have got the specialised grips on them, which is quite nice. I'm seeing that one split, so unfortunately that's not usable. So I had put a shout out about fitting suspension forks if you watched the last video. That seems to have got bombed. I did have this crazy idea of putting full-size mud guards on. That did not go down well. So, yeah, so we'll be putting these forks back on, because as I say, we're going in this crazy beach cruiser, which suspension forks would definitely not be a winner. I mean, I thought the forks might have been an issue because they're actually from circa 2000. It was just that they were in a nice orange colour that would have matched the decals. But that has now not made the cut. Sure, I'll use that. Oh, right, okay, I'm just turning away. I thought that was one piece. But I'm sure that'll make the cut on another video. Right, that is looking kind of like the bottom bracket, all a little bit corroded and gummed up. It's kind of like rusty water. But we can put all that in the ultrasonic cleaner. Forks at least look straight. As you know, a couple of videos ago, we had the universal epic, and that forks were just bent right forward, so it obviously had an epic jump. And get all these off, although, yeah, problem I'm going to have with these is these are all broken. I know they're covers, but I'd like them to be intact. The bits are actually falling off. Let's see if I can sort this problem, but the bolt is not the problem. It is most definitely this whole assembly is seized, and this might not be an easy fix. See, they come off okay, and this side will come off okay, but not that side. It all comes off okay, so the back ones are okay, although the shrouds are cracked on that one as well. I don't know. Right, I've flipped it over and I've been wiggling that way, going nowhere, so the best bet I'm feeling is just whacking it off. We won't be using these brake levers again, or brake arms, whatever you call them. Boom! Well, let's hope these are of not this. Let's hope they're not of the same ilk. Although they're certainly moving okay. But I think the problem now, the problem now is now that the back ones are destroyed, it's unlikely that I'm going to be using these ones. Otherwise, we end up with a bit of a mismatched set, which is not really ideal. Yeah, see, the same again. I know, see, these parts are broken, so you can't use them because that's what you adjust the springs by. There we go, intact pair of forks. So we will be doing a free sticker giveaway. I'll be picking a winner from last week's video in a moment. But if you want to take part in this week's, and this will be a special week because I have the exclusive Cheap Bike Buildoff sticker will be included in the bundle. So roughly you get 10 stickers from this bundle, thereabouts, and I'll put the bonus one in as well. All you have to do is comment on the video. Ideally like it, and I would really be appreciated if you've already subscribed, but if you haven't, no biggie. So like the video, subscribe. No, sorry, like the video and then comment. Just comment down below. Comment about the video, comment about my channel in general. Just comment for the sake of commenting and you'll automatically be entered. And to give you an idea, you're typically going about, at most, about another 20 people. So it's a 1 in 20 chance where that you will win, and I will ship them to you. As long as you've got a postal service coming to you, I will do my best. Obviously, if I get to the post office and I can't get them to you, or it's insanely expensive, unfortunately, I do reserve the right not to, because I don't want to end up spending £20 just getting free stickers to someone. Let's pick a winner from last week. Right, let's see who's the winner from last week's video. We've only got 22 valid comments, so it's a 1 in 22 chance. 1 in 22 chance you're going to win these stickers. Pick a winner. We've got Paul Jeffries. Nice one. Another great video. I really like the work that you do on these old bikes. Right, Paul, I'm going to leave a comment and we're going to get you details and I'm going to get those stickers winging their way off to you, and you will get the bonus Cheap Bike Buildoff sticker as well. Well, let's get a bit of bottom bracket pouring. You like the close-ups, I know that. So I'm just going to run a wire brush around the threads first. There is quite a bit of rust in this bottom bracket, unfortunately. It's obviously water's been leaking inside here for a while. So we'll just do our best to get the worst of it out. There we go. Run this through. Still a little bit dirty in there, but I think it's going to be as good as we're going to get it. Right, I'm just going to give it a quick brush over with some paint compound. This is meant to cut and polish. This is what you just literally use on a car. Now this rotary disc I've got is not the best. It's fine on a car, but it's not really any good for a bike. But it's what I have. Speed. Right, let's see how that came up. Let's give it a wee wipe down. I mean, there's definitely better tools for it, but I just don't have any. That was an old kit I had for polishing my car before I got a dual action polisher. Use what I have left. You know, just give it a little bit of luster. I'm not sure how well that worked actually. That compound, I kind of got that at a push. It's not the stuff. Normally I always use Maguire's, which definitely I get results out of that. It has worked on cars, but I'm not a fan of it. Right, now we're going to hit it with some Gloss Boss. This is just a car detailing gloss spray. When you finish maybe cleaning your car, you can just hit it with this. It's just a sort of detailing spray. It smells like bubble gum. This should just give it the final, as much pop as it's going to get out of a whatever, 20, 30-year-old frame, sorry, mid-90s, I think. Right, I definitely think it's had a little bit of something, you know. I think it'll probably pop better when we're outside. Right, so we've got the frame completely stripped down now. We're at the, well, I would say it's the halfway point, but there's no way that it's going to come apart a lot easier than it's going to go back together. So I'm going to put the front forks on, because I know that they're going back on, and I'm going to start easing into the front cockpit. Things that I need to start deciding about. The mud guards, I've got them all stripped down. I'm going to have to go and get some screws, etc., because the ones that were in it were just completely corroded. But here's a bit of a quandary. I'm in two minds whether to leave them back black or just blow them over with black, leaving them that colour. But I kind of feel they don't stand out, and this is kind of like a major feature. Or do I paint them a colour? Either do them in a kind of like an aluminium colour, or maybe even a gold, which would go with the wine red. This is kind of what I'm not sure. The stays are quite corroded, so I'm going to have to deal with this rust. I don't know how. I've never really sort of bothered about it. I've usually just rubbed it off, but I think I'm going to have to get that Evapor Rust stuff or make up my own stuff and put that in and see if we can get rid of as much rust as possible. We may have to paint these as well because these are off a very, very cheap bike and they have not lasted well. I've been thinking more about not the bike, but the concept of the Cheap Bike Buildoff. And if you've watched it before, you will see some crazy custom bikes that are absolutely blinging. And I think it's amazing the creators just create such amazing bikes. And I think it's fantastic they can do it and fit it into the budget that they're doing. And it really shows that to have a standout bike, you don't have to spend a lot. But I was thinking more and more that a lot of people out there, they're not going to swap meets. They're not picking up these high-end XT components and saving them up over the year. It's usually just a very impromptu thing. I think I'll build a bike. They go out, they get a couple of scrap bikes and they start smashing them together. And the more I was thinking about it, I don't know why I'm trying to build this immaculate bike, you know, and I'm worrying about the corrosion, or, you know, we're calling it patina. On the bike, you know, shall I paint the mud guards? What colour am I doing them? And then I started to realise more and more that why? You know, why can't I just have ordinary components on the bike? I want to build something that is stand out, that is clear. Because you can't just have an ordinary bike looking clean. It's not like the whole point of it is to be imaginative, to be artistic. It's not a classic car show as such. You know, although you're building up bikes, you may have that awesome GT frame and you've got all these XT components on it. The sun is shining on it. It looks amazing. I think they're fantastic bikes. For the everyday guy, I'm starting to think that I want to do the everyday guy. Like literally, I want to build the apocalypse bike. You know, there are no new bikes. The world has, this is like Fallout, you know. You're just building bikes from the bits you've got. You're not going to be sitting down polishing parts, are you? And I've got in my mind, I know what I want to do with this bike now. It has constantly changed, but then I keep getting pulled back in from my crazy ideas thinking, oh, but that might look silly, or, you know, it'll look too out from what normally is in the Cheap Bike Buildoff. And I built, if you watch my last year's bike, it was a great coloured Saracen, bright apple green metallic. I put, well, fitting it into the budget, I put the best components on that I could. I mean, I'm not into this competition for trying to win it. It's more like, this is just showcasing the channel, as it were. I've decided what I'm going to do with this build now. I am going to just build it regardless how I want to do it, quirky as it will be. I am not going to be polishing parts and repainting parts. You know what? I'm going to put the mud guards back on. I will literally put the rusty screws back in. I'll barely clean them. Things like the stanchions, yeah, I'll give them a quick rub back with some oil, but I'm not going to be dipping them in Evapor Rust or anything like that. I have decided that this bike, you're going to get what you're going to get. When you look in the picture, I just want people to go, and you know what? I could have built that too. I don't need any special tools. I don't need any special dips to bring the chrome back. I just want to finish it as it is. And I'm now deciding this is what I'm going to do. This often happens with my project. I get so wrapped up in them, they progress very slowly. I miss deadlines because I'm like, oh, I'll need to order this, I'll need to order that, that does not look good, blah, blah, blah. And I've literally ordered parts for this bike that I'm now not going to use because my direction just changes. Like every day I come in the garage, and the direction's just changed again. You know what? I had all these like fancy XT shifter brake levers and all that looked out, but you know what? I'm not sure I'm even going to use them now, because I don't want, the bike is not now going to be any sort of bling special. Look at all my XT stuff. I'm going in the opposite way. I was literally digging through my drawer to look for the sort of the best shit stuff. That is what I'm looking for now. Like I want it to all tie in. So I'm kind of looking at these brake levers. They're crap ones. Well, not crap, but they're they're Tektro. They're okay, but they're metal, so it ties in. And do you know what? I'm just going to use this stuff. It's gonna, the whole thing's just going to be dialed back down, back to reality. I think I'm going to keep my name, my new name for it. It's not going to be the Hard Rock. It's going to be the Hardly Rockin', because the whole thing's going to be laid back. But I think, yeah, I'm going to make this more of a rat bike, I think. And I'm going to keep all the patina. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to keep all that on it. I'm not going to take anything off. It's just going to be, the bike is going to be the bike. I'm going to build the bike I want to build. I want to build a bike for the channel. And that's really all I'm trying to do.